So my talk today is about internet memes and how they evolve from iconic pictures to grammatical templates. So first of all, what is kind of the background of this story? Well, grammaticalization has been shown to be a very good model of language evolution, particularly the evolution of meaning. And so in linguistics, we have seen that across languages, the grammar evolves from lexical meanings to grammatical meanings. And here I show an example of the verb to go. So in English, for instance, to go means literally to go, and we still use it in its lexical meaning, but it has also over time acquired another grammatical usage, and that is I am going to do something. I can even say I'm going to go to the university, for instance, and in this case, the usage is grammatical and the meaning is that of future tense and not the lexical meaning of going somewhere, as in physical movement. So we see that there is this constant change in a way that the grammar keeps being generated from lexical meanings to grammatical ones. We're going from more concrete meanings to more abstract meanings over time. But the problem with a lot of studies in grammaticalization is that we do not have historical data on most languages in the world, and we don't have precise data on language transmission patterns. So we do not know exactly how and why grammaticalization occurs in this way, and how much, what kind of transmission is necessary for this process to occur. And so in order to sort of go around this problem, instead of looking for more historical data on the languages that we do not have, we're actually arguing that image macros or memes, internet memes in this talk, follow a parallel evolution pattern that is very similar to grammaticalization and that can be exploited in its full data potential that is available online. And so we're focusing basically on one type of memes. So we're focusing on exploitable memes. And so first of all, to say what is the connection to language and why this, so memes have already been analyzed as multimodal constructions. So they're not just a picture, they're a picture that has a very particular meaning. And usually it also comes together with text. So there's usually some language involved, and it's a type of meaning that in many cases can be iterated. So they actually do form constructions in the sense of, for instance, cognitive grammar in linguistics. And we focus specifically on exploitable memes. And what this means is that we can actually exploit or change one part of the meme. In this case, in this meme, this is fine. We can exploit or change one part of the picture. For example, we can change the environment of the dog, or we can change the dog himself and put it in different environments. Like instead of the fire now, it's the hotness, it's the weather, and so on. And so then coming back to the grammaticalization, how do these, so what exactly is so interesting about the grammaticalization? What are the stages that then we can relate to memes? And why should we do that? So first of all, the stages of grammaticalization are quite, we can precisely find them in many different languages. And many linguists, for instance, Kuteva and Heine, have shown that we start first with extension of a specific word to new contexts. For instance, if I have the verb to go, that means just going somewhere, and I start using it more and more, I'm going to uni, I'm going home. And even though it refers to the act of going somewhere physically, it's ambiguous, and it's already giving us some implication that it might refer to a future action. And so we start using it more and more in these future contexts, which then in turn leads to semantic bleaching or loss of this original lexical meaning, which was quite concrete and quite physical. And then over time, it can also lead to the erosion of the phonetic material. And we can get something like, I'm gonna go. And I get this like erosion of the word going. And so in this whole process, we're going from a more lexical meaning to a more abstract meaning. And what is interesting about this process and all these stages is that linguists have shown that this process is unidirectional. So it's not, there are some exceptions, but the tendency is extremely strong that it goes only in the direction from lexical to abstract, or from lexicon to grammar, and not the other way around. Okay, so now when we apply this to memes, what we see is that We are not using the word lexical because in this context we have a picture, and when we talk about pictures, we talk about iconicity. And what does this mean? So just to give you an example, I have here a picture from the movie Attack of the Clones. And if I, for example, post this picture on Twitter and I say something about it, I am using it iconically. So the form of this picture resembles its meaning. It's referring specifically to the scene that I'm talking about. It is taken directly from the movie, so it's iconic. It has an iconic reference to that movie. And this is a particular scene that inspired the meme that I'm going to show you now, where Anakin is kind of showing some fascistic tendencies to Padme, and they're talking about politics and so on. But then this inspired a meme, or inspired actually an innovation, a first innovation that was posted on Twitter by an account that purposefully creates fake quotes of Star Wars movies. And so they took this scene where Anakin talks to Padme, but they changed the order of the pictures, so the pictures don't follow exactly the order in which it happened. And then they also put fake text or fake quotes. And so Anakin says, "I'm going to change the world." Padme says, "For the better, right?" And then his face indicates that not for the better. And she repeats the question. And so this was this original innovation that was posted in April last year on Twitter, and it went viral, and people started sharing it in this in the same form. But then what happened quite soon with this virality and the explosion of sharings, people started changing this picture. And at this point, this becomes a meme. It becomes a template that's shareable and exploitable. And so here we see that several parts are exploitable. But the first thing that usually gets exploited or changed in this sense is the text. And we see here that we even get this black covering of the text, where the original text is covered and then the new text is put on top of it. I'm going to get the money from the bank, legally, right? Legally, right? And so what is crucial here, the reason why this is now a template and why it loses its iconicity and it's approaching a more abstract meaning is because we're not referring anymore to the Star Wars characters. We're not referring anymore to the scene. We don't have this iconic reference anymore. Now these pictures are still iconic in the purely visual sense, but they're placeholders for new identities, and they're abstracted from what they actually represent. So we're going in this direction of a meme template, and it becomes more and more relevant that we actually know that this is a meme, and that this in fact has its own sort of constructions, its own grammar, and we have to know the meme previously to be able to appreciate the humor and what it actually means. And then the next level of further abstraction and further away from this iconic reference to the original scene is when we change the pictures. And we see, so in the previous case related to grammaticalization, we had what I call semantic bleaching. So when we have this loss of the original meaning as much of the template and also of the original movie scene. But now here we have even further erosion of the original text and picture. And in this case, we are now not only implying that Anakin and Padme are placeholders for something, now we're actually putting those pictures there. And even though this might seem in a way more iconic because it's referring to those characters that are being represented, it is less iconic in this more evolution sense because it's further away from the iconic movie scene and the iconic original template of the meme. So now the knowledge of the meme becomes even more important. Otherwise, you might say, why do we have pictures posted on top of other pictures? Well, the idea is that you appreciate the humor that we're building on the knowledge of the meme as it was previously used. Okay, and so we went further with this method. So besides just looking at this was just our hypothesis that this would apply then to more memes and that this could be a pattern of evolution for internet memes. So we analyzed 1,329 instances of 7 randomly selected memes from knowyourmeme.com. So this is sort of as a starting point. We took the date of publication and we classified each meme for the stage of their semantic change. So we looked specifically at the change of text and the change of picture, and we gave each meme a specific value from 1 to 9, beginning with the innovation to more gradual incremental changes of text and picture to the end result would be the completely new meme that developed out of this meme. And just to give you an example, boardroom meeting is a meme where we classified 277 instances. And in this plot, you can see that over time, so you can see on the x-axis, the time since the publication of the innovation. And on the y-axis, you can see the fraction of the meme pool for each of these different stages of evolution. So number one is this basic innovation. So the first innovation when it was shared. And then right after, the text started being changed. So we can see that actually we have this ordering. As soon as the innovation is there, we get more memes that are classified as having text somewhat changed. And only then does all text get completely replaced. And then just like later, much later, the strategy of changing all the pictures, so adding something on top and so on, becomes the more dominant strategy of the meme evolution. So we see that we have this kind of strict following of different stages, just like we have in grammaticalization. And this goes then in the more territory of more abstract, more abstract evolution. And so all 7 memes, even though not all memes that we looked at have all the stages, they all follow this ordering, going from more concrete or more iconic to more abstract. And so in this last plot, we want to show the average level of abstraction. So you can also see, again, the time on the x-axis, and then you can see on top the average level of abstraction for this entire meme pool. And basically, we base this on our classification from 1 to 9. And so the higher the number, so we made averages of all these classifications for all the memes over time. And you can actually see that the change in time of the average levels of abstraction is going towards more abstract. So everything that is above this 0, above the red line, is more abstract, and anything that would be below would be less abstract. But we see that on average, memes actually over time get more and more abstract. So they go more and more in the direction of changing the text, changing the picture, relying on the knowledge of the meme and of the template. So this plot actually is also consistent with the hypothesis that maybe memes are either in general more abstract or maybe do not change in abstractness, but we show that they could never get less abstract over time. So there's a tendency for, in general, more abstraction. And so this is basically our main finding. And this is sort of I would say, a pilot, a study that is now going to lead to a bigger collection of data, looking more at Twitter and Reddit and trying to find if this somehow can be correlated to virality of different memes. And our main point, our main takeaway message is that memes, exploitable memes, become more abstract over time, similarly to the evolution of grammar, as in grammaticalization. And this is very important for understanding how templates emerge in general in cultural transmission, but also for this unidirectionality idea that grammaticalization is based on, that we have this very specific ordering, that we do not have stages that are. So if we go, for example, to this plot, we don't get these later stages, like all pictures being replaced or pictures are changed. They never precede the change of text. We have this very specific ordering. First the innovation, then the text gets changed, and then the pictures. And that's all. Thank you.